Tina and I am back, and I am here with a video that has been highly requested, and that is for all of my favorite brushes. Now, I have done a favorite brush video in the past, but this one is really condensed and it's featuring all my favorite eyeshadow brushes as well as my face brushes. So let's go ahead and jump right into it so this video isn't too long. Now, I feel like the best way to approach this video is to talk about the brushes in the order that I would use them in my makeup routine. And the first thing that I typically do is fill in my eyebrows. So of course we're going to talk about the brushes that I use for my eyebrows. Now, I use an eyebrow pencil for my eyebrows, so I would typically use the spoolie end of the pencil, like my Urban Decay Brow Beater or my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz pencil. They have spoolies on the end of their pencils, so I don't need to actually use a separate spoolie. But in case I was looking for a spoolie, I do prefer the Anastasia Beverly Hills spoolies. Now, she has two versions of her spoolies on brushes. She has a number 12 brush, which is a larger size brush that has a spoolie end, and then she has the travel size, which is the number 7 brush, and I would use this as a spoolie. But like I said, this is kind of an accessory product because I don't typically use a separate spoolie than the one I use with my pencil. However, a brush that I do specifically use is my Paula Dorf Eye Definer brush. This one is a little bit trickier to find. It's available on the Paula Dorf website. You can sometimes find it on Amazon, but I have these eye definer brushes. They're just a flat top brush. So once I have my shape down, my outline, I will go in with this flat top brush just to evenly distribute the brow pencil, and I'll also use it to apply brow powder if I choose to. I love this brush. It's just the right density. It's not too thin where it's just going to give me sharp lines. It has a little bit of bulk to it, a little bit of width, so it allows me to brush product through my brows, and I love this. The next brush that I go in with is one that I use to apply concealer under my brows. It creates a very sharp outline. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills number 18 concealer brush. This one I get from the Anastasia Beverly Hills website. I don't know for sure if it's available at Ulta or Sephora. It's a simple concealer brush, so you can definitely find other concealer brushes on the market with a similar shape, but I do really like this one because it comes to a very defined shape. It's rounded and it thins out. Once you apply liquid to it, it thins out and it gives a really sharp outline. So I use that under my brows to really outline the shape. And this also comes in handy if you are doing like cut creases and you're doing detailed work. You can use it to help create a sharp outline in your crease area. So love this brush. I have multiples. In fact, I have multiples of most of the brushes that I'm going to mention because they are my favorites and I can't do without them. So I do have to end up having backups just in case I can't find one of them one day. I cannot be without them, so I have multiples of this brush. Next up, we have the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease brush. This guy is one of my favorite brushes to apply and blend out my eyeshadow bases, my eyeshadow primers. I will use this to just buff concealer over my lids. I will use it for my Laying Low paint pot from MAC. I will use it for cream eyeshadows. I love this guy. Now, this was originally a part of a 4-piece set that was not too expensive. It's at Ulta. I think it was like $14.99. But since then, they've started releasing these in a duo set. So you do get this and another brush from Real Techniques for like $8. And it's definitely worth it for this brush alone. I love this brush. It's a synthetic domed brush that you can use to buff cream products over your lids. And I can't live without this again. I have multiples of this brush, and Real Techniques has some great synthetic brushes if you use a lot of cream products or liquid products. After that, what's my next step? I go in with a transition color, and for that I like to use a very large blending brush. So for this, I've been loving the Eddie Funkhouser blending crease brush. This is a large dome shaped synthetic brush. It's really fluffy. It has that nice circular shape to it. It isn't too floppy, so it allows me some control. It doesn't just flop around, and I can apply my blend-in, my transition shade in my crease area using windshield wiper motions. Love this brush for this. It's a great brush to use with larger eyelids and eyelid space because it covers a large surface area in one go. You don't have to keep going back. It's just a really great brush, and it helps to diffuse color. So if I have color down and I want to go in and really make sure I have a good blend, I'll go back in with this brush to help diffuse color. Love this guy. But with that being said, there are also some other large blending brushes that I have loved throughout my days, and this is one of them. It's the Hawk Hakuhodo J5522 brush. This is also a large blend-in brush. It's a goat-haired bristled brush, and it has a similar shape to the Eddie Funkhouser brush. But the Eddie Funkhouser brush is a little bit more textured, which means it grabs color a little bit more. The Hakuhodo one is ultra soft, and this one is another great one for doing the same thing that the Eddie Funkhouser brush does, because it has a large shape to it and it's really soft. You can find this on the Hakuhodo website. Love this guy. Another one that is a similar kind of shape is the Smith Cosmetics 232 large quill brush. This one is a little bit more tapered, it's a little bit more pinched. It's not as dome shaped as the other two, but it is a larger brush. So if you have a large crease area, this is a good one as well, and it just applies color in a really diffused manner, and it helps with blending in that crease. Now another brush that I kind of use for the same purpose is a large shader brush. This is from Tom Ford. It's an expensive brush. It's not necessary for anyone, but I do like it, so I have to mention it. It's the number 11. It's a large paddle shaped shader brush, but it's fluffy, so you can use it to do the same kind of thing to apply color. It has a different shape though, so it's not going to give you necessarily a fluffy blend, but you can use it in the same way to apply a lot of color, or just to apply a wash of color on the lid, in the crease. Really nice brush as well, but it is an expensive brush, so I recommend getting a brush that is similar in shape, not necessarily this exact one, but I love this one because it's very soft, it's very durable. I've just been loving this one. And I'll keep with the blend-in brushes and go a step down, just a little bit more of a tighter shape. So this is the GSN 10 brush from Chikuhodo. It is a large blend-in brush. Think of MAC 217, which I have loved, but I have kind of graduated from the MAC 217. Still like the brush, but there are just other options that I prefer more. This one is from Chikuhodo, like I said. Same kind of blend-in, but it's a little bit smaller. So if you have smaller lids, you can use this one instead of like those larger blend-in brushes that I love. But this is another one that does that same blend. It's a goat-haired brush. It's really soft, and I love it. And we're moving down into smaller brushes as well. So we have the J5523 brush from Hakuhodo. This is, again, a smaller blend-in brush. It's really soft, goat hair. It's really nice for a good blend. It keeps color tight because it has a smaller shape, but it's so soft and it helps to diffuse color, and it's not too fluffy because the bristles aren't overly long, so it gives you a controlled blend. And it's just a beautiful soft brush, and it really helps with blending. So I love this brush. Multiples of this brush. Then we have the Smith Cosmetics 230 brush. This is their small quill brush. This brush is a really nice one for getting a concentrated blend. I love this for cut creases and like when I really want detailed work, because it gets right into the little nooks and crannies without splaying all over the place. I really like the shape of this one. Now the thing about the Smith Cosmetics brushes is that they're not ultra soft. They're a little bit scratchy, which is fine when you're picking up color, because when you have a textured bristle, it picks up color from an eyeshadow better than like a smooth, shiny bristle. However, the scratch, you're gonna feel it on your lids. And I was a little bit skeptical about the Smith Cosmetics brushes because they're pricey. They're not the cheapest brushes, and they're not like ultra soft or luxurious, but they work really well. So it's a trade-off. Are you gonna go for the ultra soft brushes like the Suku brushes that are like, oh my god, so luxurious? Or are you gonna go for a practical brush that picks up color? It might be a little bit scratchy, but it really does the job. So it's up to you what you guys think about these brushes. I actually picked these up while they were having like a 25% off sale, and I also picked a couple more up at the makeup show where they have a discount on these, because I just couldn't bring myself to pay the full price for these. So I like them, but not for the price point. Another small blend-in brush that recently made it into my collection and my favorites is the A25 brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills. She recently released brushes, and this is one of them that I tried out. It's a really great little blend-in brush. It has a dome shape. It has a pinched, like a tighter ferrule, but then it flares out a bit. And it's a really good brush for blending in the crease, for smaller eyes, for more detailed work. It is just a really good one. I like this one. It's I believe it's a synthetic natural hair blend. It might just be synthetic. It's a little bit scratchy, but it's such a great brush for blending in the crease, for getting in those tight spots, and it would work well for smaller eyes. So I really love this brush as well. Another great little crease brush is the D220 brush from Cosette. Oh, this is such a beautiful brush. It's a really small tapered crease brush. This is great for detailed work. And these brushes are synthetic. So if you're vegan or if you go for cruelty-free options, this is a really nice one. And Cosette makes some really great brushes. This one is one of my favorites. Again, really detailed work. And it's great for those of you who have smaller eyelids and you just want a really small detailed crease brush. This is a great one. And of course, I can't finish up the crease brushes without mentioning my Sonia Kashuk 116 large crease brush. It's a dense brush. It has shorter bristles. It's really great for outer V and outer crease work because it is so dense. It allows you to apply color really intensely, but it's dome shaped so you can use the edges to blend it out. But it's a really beautiful brush, again, for that outer V to concentrate color. I love this guy. Not so much for blending, but more for applying a dense color on that outer V. Now we can move into brushes that we would use to apply color to the eyelid. So these are going to be eyeshadow brushes. And I'll start out with the larger of these. We have the Sonia Kashuk. This is the number 28 eyeshadow brush. This is from the Luxurious line. It's a little bit pricier than their regular brushes. It looks really luxurious and it works. It's a larger shader brush, but it's really dense, it's rounded, and you can use it to pack on color on the lid. It's a really great brush for that. It picks up color well, it applies it really nicely. I love this brush because of the shape of it and the density of it. It just allows me to apply color really well. So I love this brush. And I'm going to also mention this Real Techniques number 200 large shader brush. Now this guy is a synthetic again, so it works well with creams. It works well with shimmer shades, those dimethicone shades. This would work well with. I like to dampen this brush and apply color just whoop, one swipe over the lid. This is a really large brush. Now I don't like this for applying color in the crease like I do the Tom Ford brush. They're very similar in shape, but the Tom Ford brush is a goat haired brush, so it allows me to really diffuse color. But since the Real Techniques bristles are synthetic, they don't quite give you the same ability to diffuse color. They just give you a great color payoff when you use it to apply color all over the lid. This is a large brush, so it's for larger eyes. The next one up is the Eddie Funkhouser Eyeshadow brush. This guy has been my go-to. It has taken the place of my MAC 239 brush, which I also love a lot. It's a smaller brush, but this one is a larger brush. I have larger eyelid space, so I do use larger brushes for my eyelids. This one is a great one. It is a synthetic brush. It picks up color well. It deposits color really nicely. It's nice and soft, and it's just one of my favorite eyeshadow brushes. I just love this. It works well with matte colors, shimmer shades, because it has that synthetic blend, so it just gives a really great color payoff to the lids without working too hard, and I absolutely love it. And speaking of the MAC 239, here it is. It is a smaller shader brush. I love this guy for precise application on the lid. It is a goat haired bristle brush. It's soft. It applies color really well on the lid. It packs on color, shimmer and mattes, but it works better with matte shades. This is just a really, it's just a go-to. It's one of the original brushes from my collection, and I still love it to this day, but it has a smaller shape, so if you have smaller eyes, you would go for something similar to this. Now, we can't talk about eyeshadow brushes without mentioning my Rite Aid Renewal eyeshadow brush. This is a synthetic brush. I have so many of these, I cannot tell you. I hunted these down when I couldn't find them in store. I was like, hold up, are they sold out? Are they discontinuing the line? I cannot do without these, so I went and just gathered up as many as I could find. This is a beautiful brush for frosty eyeshadows, metallic shades, for pigments. You can dampen it. It's synthetic. It just works well. I don't think I have applied metallic eyeshadow or shimmery eyeshadow without using this brush in a while. It's just a really good brush for getting color on the lids. It's synthetic again. It works best with cream and liquid products, so I always dampen it and use it with my frost shades. This is just such a good little brush. If you can find it, again, it's from the Renewal line from Rite Aid. Really great brush and so inexpensive. Love, like I cannot live without this brush. Now since we're talking about synthetic brushes that are really good at picking up color, I must mention the Kat Von D Shade and Light eyeshadow brush. This guy is dual-sided. I don't use the pencil brush side, even though it's not a bad side. It's just a little bit too pointy for my taste. But the domed side of this brush is really good. It's a dome shaped synthetic brush. It's really good at picking up metallic shades, again, those frost shades, those really frosty colors, and apply them to the lid. It builds up color really nicely. It's just a really good brush. It's a little bit pricey, but it is worth it. It's a really good brush and I love, love, love this brush. Now I want to talk about some smaller detailed brushes. These are my pencil brushes of choice. I have the Eddie Funkhouser small crease brush. That's what he calls it, but for me it's a rounded pencil brush. It's a really small shape. It's not a really fine pointed pencil brush. It's a rounded shape, so it's really comfortable for that inner tear duct area. I hate pointed pencil brushes because they just hurt my inner tear duct. This one is rounded, has a perfect shape, perfect size, it fits right in there. You can apply shimmer shades, blend it out. I really don't know what I did without this brush before. Like what was I using in that inner tear duct area? I have no idea. And this might surprise you, I'm mentioning a Morphe brush. There are actually a couple of Morphe brushes that I do like, and it's just one of those things. Morphe is such a polarizing brand. A lot of people hate them, a lot of people love them. For me, I'm kind of neutral. I'm kind of in the middle. But sometimes I lean more on the side of I don't like Morphe. Mainly because of their practices, their business practices, and how they push their affiliate codes. I don't know, they just leave a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. But I like some of their brushes and I'm going to mention them in case you guys are interested in trying them out. This is the Morphe R41 brush. It's also a small pencil brush. It's a dome shape. Use it on the inner tear duct. It's a similar shape to the Eddie Funkhouser one. This one is a little bit more scratchy, but it gets the job done. And it really works well on the inner tear duct. And I like that dome shape without it being a pointy pencil brush. So there you have it. And I can't wrap up the eyeshadow brushes without mentioning my two shader brushes from MAC. We'll start out with the 252 large shader brush. This is what I use under my eyebrows to apply my highlight. This is a large shaped shader brush. It's flat, it's synthetic, it works well with, again, cream products, liquid products, but it's a large shape and I love the paddle style of this. It allows me to apply my highlight really well. It helps to blend the color downwards onto the brow bone. Love this brush, could not be without it, and I've never found another brush that's similar to this shape that I love more. And we have the baby to that. This is the MAC 242. It's a small shader brush, again synthetic, similar shape but it's smaller, and this guy is my lower lash line savior. It's great for applying color just against the lashes. It gets right up under there because of the shape. It's a great brush for those frosty shades, again, because it is synthetic, and you can also apply matte shades with it. It's just a good brush and you can dampen it over and over again. I just love this brush. And to finish up the eyes, let's mention two brushes that I don't really use on camera a lot. That is the MAC 263 eyeliner brush. This is an angled synthetic eyeliner brush. I don't really wear eyeliner a lot anymore, but when I used to do winged eyeliner with gel liner, I would use this brush. It was my go-to, and it still would be if I used a gel eyeliner. I just don't use it as much anymore because I don't have a reason to. But this would be my go-to, again, the MAC 263 brush. And for my lower waterline, I typically use a pencil, so I don't have a pencil brush that I would use on my lower waterline. I do have a mascara brush, though, that I wanted to mention to you guys. I've shown you guys where I apply a little bit of mascara on the backs of my lashes in case I have fallout and I'm not wearing lashes at all. And you can use a flat definer brush for that, but a really great mascara brush that I've used is the Stila 38 brush. It's really just a tiny synthetic fan brush. You run it against your mascara wand, you pick the product up, and you can apply it on the backs of your lashes, and it will cover up your fallout. So it's a really handy brush to have. It's just one that I don't necessarily always use in my videos. Okay, now we're done with the eye brushes. Let's move on to the face brushes, which I don't have as many face brushes because I don't really use that many face brushes. Even though I have a ton of them in my collection, I don't really use a ton of different brushes on my face. So for my foundation, I use a brush for my foundation. I don't use a sponge. I know a lot of people love a beauty blender or a similar beauty sponge, but I prefer a brush personally. My favorite, and you guys probably know this by now if you watched enough of my videos, this is the Face 3 brush from Marc Jacobs. So this brush, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It works really well. It's really pricey, but for the price, I get what I need from it, and it works so well that I have 2 of them in rotation, the clean one and the used one. So this guy washes really well too. It's a buff-in brush. It's a synthetic domed brush. It has a really fat handle, which I actually like because it allows me to hold the brush at the end and buff my foundation in, but it's not so short. Like, you know those short kabuki brushes? I hate those. It's just like the perfect handle size. It's weighty, it feels luxurious, and the bristles are so soft. It's a large shape, so I get my foundation on. I don't have to worry about 1, 2, 3. You know, it doesn't take long at all. It's quick, it's easy. Love this. I highly recommend this. And then this guy recently entered my favorites. I was hesitant about this brush because I heard so many people talk about them, and I'm like, I don't believe you, I don't trust you, but I bit the bullet and went ahead and tried this. This is the Oval 8 brush from Artis Brushes. I got this from Saks Fifth Avenue. You can also get it at Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and they're also on QVC, and you can get deals with these. They're pricey, so get a deal if you can. I actually had a discount coupon, that's why I got this guy. But I'm so in love with it. You wouldn't think that this is gonna be one of those brushes, but it really is for me. It's so soft. Okay, it's really, really soft. It's like a hairbrush. It's like a baby hairbrush. It's really nice. It's really dense, like it's densely packed. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but you just buff your foundation in with this. It glides over the skin. It feels so good. Oh my god. Love this, and I do recommend it if you wanted to try it out. This guy I do recommend. I really love it, and I want to get a backup, but I'm waiting for a sale because it's pricey, or I'm waiting for somebody to gift it to me because I really don't want to spend the money on it, but it's so good. It's so good. I love it. All right, so now that we have the foundation on, let's go ahead and set that down with powder. I have my Tarte powder player brush. So good. I have 2 of them. Yes, I know, unnecessary, but I told you I need backups if I love a brush. This is a really large, again, dome-shaped powder brush. Has a beautiful handle. It's nice and solid, and I use this to press my powder into my skin. Love this guy. It's large enough to really cover a lot of surface area again, and it's just really good for pressing powder in. I don't like lightly buff. You have these brushes that are really large that people use to apply powder. I have oily skin, so I don't need a light fluffing of powder. I need powder. So I press my powder in with my powder player brush from Tarte. Love this guy. Highly recommend. They have sales all the time. Get it on sale. Love it. Now, how about some contour? I've been using this brush here from Sonia Kashuk. Again, 2 of them. I got them in a set. This is a stripe handle set. It was like $39. You get 10 brushes. So you get a few other brushes that are actually nice in the set, but this is the guy that I really loved. And when they went on sale, they had the set for like $14.99. I picked 2 more up. So I have another backup up there. But this guy has kind of a square shape to it with a domed head. It's great for applying contour and chiseling out the cheeks. Apply it to my hairline. I just love this for bronzer and for contour products. Love, love, love this brush. It's really soft too, and it's relatively inexpensive for what it's worth. And the brush that actually inspired me to get that one is another Marc Jacobs brush. This is the Shape brush. It has the same kind of squared shape, but this one has a flat top. It also works well to chisel out the cheeks, to apply your contour, apply a little bit of dimension to your hairline. Love this brush for shaping the face. I love it. Pricey again, but it's really luxurious. It's really solidly made. It's a nice brush, and it has lasted me for years. I only have 1 of these. Again, it's pricey, and it's only for contour, so I don't feel like I need a backup. Plus, I now have the Sonia Kashuk version, so I love, love that. Another brush that kind of made it into my keepsakes is this NYX Professional Makeup No. 6 brush. It's a large fan brush. Now, I don't usually like fan brushes. In fact, I hate fan brushes. Those little spidery looking things, I hate them so much. I never use them, hate them, and I hate what they're used for. The highlight, it just, hate them. But this guy is not the same thing. It's a fluffy, wide fan brush. And it has a beautiful long handle. And what I use this for is for contour. The shape of it is really beautiful. It's wider, but it really works well to apply your contour again, apply bronzer to the hairline. It just works well, and it's really soft. It's not too expensive, and I have been loving this guy as well for doing the same thing as these two shape brushes. I wanted to also mention this Morphe R11 brush. I use it to contour my nose. It's a large, it looks like a large eyeshadow brush. It's just a mega size eyeshadow brush. This brush is scratchy, as most of their rose gold collection brushes are. But since I'm using it on my face, it's not as scratchy as using it on your eyes. So I do like this brush. It does blend out color really well, and it picks up color really nicely as well. So I do like it, but it is scratchy. Let's not pretend it isn't. Now that we have our contour down and all that, let's talk about blush brushes. I don't have a specific blush brush that I am so in love with that I have to tell you guys about it. I pretty much grab any random shaped blush brush. Like this is the NARS number 5 brush. I apply my blush with it, love it, but it's not like, oh my god, you have to get this brush. I feel like blush brushes are one of those brushes that you can get away with any brush, and you can have, just go at it. Like any similar shaped brush like this is the Morphe R14. You can just apply your blush. I feel like blush brushes are one of those things that you can just use whatever is available and it will be just fine. The Sonia Kashuk brush line has a couple of blush brushes you can cheap out and still accomplish the same thing. So blush, not a big deal for me. But then we move on to highlight, and highlight for me is one of those places that you really need a brush that you're comfortable with, that you're happy with. And the one that I found is my 4SS brush from Inglot. This is such a beautiful little brush, and not many people talk about this. Actually, I learned about this brush from Petrolube, OG YouTube. Oh my god. He was so good, and he recommended this brush, and I went out and got it, and I got a backup. But it would be almost like a mega size eye blending brush. Similar shape to like a MAC 217, but it's large. And you just use it, apply a little bit of highlight, blend it out. It's just like the perfect size to apply just enough without being overwhelming, and you can just blend it out. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Really great. Love this brush. I feel like everybody should get their hands on this and have it in their collection for highlighter. Just love it. And then to wrap up and finalize everything, let's talk about 2 lip brushes. I have one here from Smith Cosmetics. It's the 302 brush. If you use a lip brush and you want precision, this is such a great one. I think Smith Cosmetics makes some of the best lip brushes. They have really defined shapes, and they're really small, and they just work really well. This one I would recommend from Smith Cosmetics without a doubt. It just gets along the lip line. It's not like too small where you're just gonna be like, oh, what the hell is this? It's like a really good size. It gives you precision, but it still covers your lips. So I love this guy. And then the final one is my MAC 231 brush. Really beautiful small lip brush. Really gets along the line. Excellent brush for lip lining. And as a bonus, it works perfect for detail work on the eyes. It's so small. It's so thin. It gives you such a precise line. You can create cut creases with it. Really beautiful, intricate lines on your eyes. Love this guy. So I have a dual purpose for this, and I love, love, love this brush. And there we have it. Those are all my favorite brushes, from eyebrow brushes to eyeshadow brushes to face brushes to lip brushes. Those are all my favorite brushes. I do have like some other brushes that I use here or there, but these are like my core collection of favorite brushes. And honestly, I couldn't live without these brushes in my collection. These are my tried and true die-hard brushes. If you watch my channel for any length of time, most of these brushes won't be a surprise to you, because you've seen me use them time and time again, over and over again throughout most of my videos, because I really, really, truly enjoy them. If you are looking for brushes to accomplish the same kind of technique that I do, or you use products similarly to how I apply my products, then these are definitely some brushes that you should check out. Highly recommend them. They're from all over the place. There are some drugstore options as well as some higher end options, but I stand by my recommendations for all of these. So I will leave a full list of all of the brushes mentioned in this video down below in the description box, and I will also leave links on where you can pick them up. Some of those links happen to be affiliate links, which means if you make a purchase through those links, I do end up getting a small sales commission. If you're not comfortable with that, just shop the way you normally shop, but if you do shop through my links, thank you so much for your support. I will also leave links to my Instagram and Twitter page where you should definitely be following me along. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.